I'm not faking it anymore. I'm not showing up to places being someone that I'm truly not. I'm no longer showing up walking on eggshells. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tay, purpose pusher and the serialpreneur. I'm excited to have you all back with me on today. I am really kind of getting in the groove of things here lately. I'm trying to make sure that I stay on schedule, that I stay on routine. I am committed to this journey and I just want to thank you all so far who have been with me for these past few weeks. Thank you so much for joining me on today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into the video. In thinking of this topic, I really thought about how I always hear people say, fake it until you make it. People in general say, on one hand, oh, just be yourself, as long as you show up as your true and genuine self, then people will accept you or receive you. But then on the other hand of that, there has essentially been a turning of events as it concerns eras and generations. And because we are such a social media driven generation, it's almost like our identity revolves around social media. And so many influencers have come out recently and said how their whole life has been a lie. They were pretending on social media because they knew that's what people wanted to see. And so this whole time they've wanted to show up as their authentic self, and they allow themselves to lose their identity. Now I want to show up as my true and genuine self, and I can't. So now I have to continue on in this facade that I've put on for how many years. I want us to think about the statement. I'm not really sure how it even came about, because in thinking of fake it until you make it, it's just like, how am I able to truly be my genuine self if I'm faking it? Who determines how long you fake it? Because once you make it and you decide to finally show up as your true, genuine, and authentic self, it's just kind of like, here you are faking it for 10 years, or faking it for 20 years, or 5 years, or let's say even 3 years. It takes you that amount of years. Essentially, you showed up under an alias for the 3, the 5, the 10, the 20 plus years. And now you've made it, and then the moment that you attempt or make an effort to show up as your true and genuine self, it's just kind of like, now you're fake, or oh, she's different, or oh, he's different. What do you do then? My thing is, why can't you just be you from the jump? Like, why can't you just be you from the beginning? The Bible talks about how without faith it is impossible to please God. If you read your Bible, if you've been tested in life, if you've had to endure long suffering, if you've had to sacrifice, and you still were able to hold on to your faith, it says a lot about you. It says a lot about your character. It says a lot about your foundation. It's important that we stay true to that. In saying fake it until you make it, the two don't go together. It's either you have faith that it's going to happen, or you don't. You've seen it time and time again. You may not have experienced it firsthand or directly, but you see things come to pass on behalf of others, and even ourselves. When I tell you God is real, God is real. He is so real. There is absolutely nothing fake about faith. So in your walk and in your journey, hold true to your faith. It's no need to fake it. It's no need to fake it. Just be yourself. God is real. Faith is real. The Bible talks about faith without works is dead, and how faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. And then there's a work that God is responsible for. There are certain things that are out of our control. We have to relinquish control over to God for his part. But for our part, we still have to put in the work. And a part of the work is continuing to believe, regardless of what I see, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what I may be going through, what I may be experiencing, whatever's going on around you. Faith has to be the foundation. Take me sitting here talking to you all as an example. This is a faith journey. This is out of the norm for me. Now, I have preached at church before, and I used to have a podcast with my sister. I now have a podcast with another set of sisters, but this is something that I have taken on my own, and so this is really and truly a faith walk for me. This is really a faith journey for me. When I tell y'all I am truly and solely dependent on God to see me through this thing, when I say that, I truly mean that. And I want to be able to help motivate and inspire other women and like-minded individuals and believers to just be you. It's okay to just show up as your genuine and authentic self without the fluff. You know, sometimes you may have the fluff, sometimes you may not have the fluff, and that's okay. It should genuinely be okay for you to just be you. I'm not faking it anymore. I'm not showing up to places being someone that I'm truly not. I'm no longer showing up walking on eggshells. I have the capability to really read a room for real. And I know that may not make sense to everyone, and that is okay. The girls that get it, and the girls that don't, hopefully at some point in your life you come into like a full knowing of who you are in God, and it'll make sense at that point in time. Until then, just kind of roll with me. And it's not like mind reading or anything. It's really a gift. It's truly a gift. It's one that you truly have to steward well. Otherwise, you may think that you tripping, or you don't be tripping off. For the girls who get it, I want y'all to let me know down in the comments. Do y'all ever feel like y'all be tripping, or like y'all be crazy, or like, because sometimes I'll be like, okay, now, is it me? The Holy Spirit is not gonna lie to you. I cannot recall if I've ever truly ran with that statement or not. I feel as though I probably took it with a grain of salt, simply because I know me. And when it comes to being fake, I do know that people are here inspiring and motivating people to fake it until they make it, and that's just not it, y'all. Faith and fake, they just don't go together. It doesn't go together. Sorry, not sorry. It just, faith and fake do not go together. Faith is very real. God is very real. You either believe or you do not believe. You either have faith or you do not have faith. There is no in between. It's just not, Think about the disciples. They weren't able to fake. They had to be serious in their walk. It wasn't no faking until you make it. Why do you think Jesus got mad whenever they brought a young child to the disciples, and they wanted the disciples to cast out a demon that was in the child, and they couldn't do it? Jesus didn't tell them to fake it. He was mad. He was upset. Because you've been following me this long and you can't cast out the demon. What you gonna do when I leave? If you don't have the power while I'm here, if you don't have the authority when I'm here, if you don't have the voice when I'm here, if you don't have the courage while I'm here, if you don't have the faith while I'm here, what are you gonna do whenever I'm gone? Whenever I leave Earth? I am preparing you for my departure. So he was upset. No, that's not how that works. He didn't say fake it until you make it. No, we're not gonna walk around and act like something that we're not. No. Essentially, we're human, and you can only fake it for so long. So what happens when it takes you 10 years instead of 3 years? You know, everything happens for a reason. And yes, we are absolutely supposed to have faith. But even in faith, you do not have to pretend with God. In my last video, I talked about how I plan to take up space on this year. But even in me taking up space, I still have to be mindful and intentional of the places that I go. I still have to be mindful and intentional of the people that I am connected to, the environments and the atmosphere that I embrace. When you walk in this faith walk, you really have to be surrounded by like-minded individuals. And really, in thinking about just life as a whole, think about artists, think about gifts and talents and cultivation. I know in my last video I touched on learning how to walk alone, but I want to make sure that I'm clear. A part of learning to walk alone for me was more so about codependency. It was less to do with isolation, rather, though I do feel as though God takes us through seasons of isolation. All is well, it is well, all will be well, if that's where you are now. I encourage you to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That isolation, listen, when I tell you, that thing is for a reason. Okay? Isolation is for a reason. Think about God and how when he went up to the mountain to pray, he wanted to be, there were times to where he wanted to be alone, but then there were also times to where he only called a certain people to join him on the disciples' journey. As they were walking with Jesus and following Jesus, like, they had to basically learn how to set their flesh aside and really tune in and tap into their spirit, man. The Lord called certain people. There were certain people that he called. There were certain people that he chose, that he selected to go to certain places, to do certain things. And so even in that, I think it is important in our faith walk, faith journey, to be connected to people who have either been on a faith journey or they have strong faith. You have to believe that even though I may not see it right now, even though I may not be experiencing it right now, even though the funds may not be in my bank account right now, even if, you know, I may not have the job that I want right now, I am preparing myself for when I get there. And so you don't have to fake it, because you want to be able to show up as your true and genuine self. I know we're not faking it this year. We're not walking on eggshells this year. We showing up as our true and genuine self this year, and we walking by faith. Fake it for what? No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. You shouldn't either. And knowing that the Lord know everything already, it's just kind of like, he didn't call you to be fake. The Lord did not call you to be fake. He said that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He didn't call you to be plastic. He didn't call you to be a dupe. He didn't call you to be a replica. He called you to be original. He called you to be authentic. Authentically you. Because in this faith walk, God has to be the foundation. His word has to be the foundation. How are you working? What are your works looking like? You fake working? Because essentially, if it's a performance, you cannot be mad if you show up as or under an alias for all these years. And in the moment that you want to step up and be your true and genuine self, people don't accept you. Or people do not receive you. Now, do I feel as though there is grace for the one who has faked it until they made it, and they eventually come into the realization that that concept doesn't work, yes, I believe that there's grace for that person. Yes, I believe that there's mercy for that person. Will they lose people on the way? Will they lose people on the journey? Certainly. But your real supporters, they're going to ride with you to the end. And I think we have to stop making this thing about ourselves. Either you surrender or you don't. It's simple. I think sometimes we make it complicated. I know for me, where I am in my life right now, it's always going to be faith over fear. It's always going to be faith over what I see. It's always going to be faith over what man said. The new statement moving forward is faith it until you make it. You do not have to have it all together, but you do have to have faith on this journey.